Joining me now is Rick Hawn, who will be back in action at Combat FC2 on October the 21st when he meets JZ Cavalcante. Rick, how are you?
Good, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm excited to have you on. When I first saw this matchup, I was blown away. I was very excited. Obviously, any hardcore MMA fans know who both you and JZ are. I just want to start with, what's bringing you back to competitive action?
Well, a couple things. I've been kind of toying with the idea for the last couple of years. I own a school since I retired back in 2015, 2016. I've kind of thought about getting back into it. Just never was the right time. And, realistically, I started to train for something maybe. And then I was like, man, this is hard. I'm getting old. It's not as fun as it used to be. And then I kind of just dropped off. But recently, or like a couple months ago, I was like, you know what, I'm going to go for it. I'm gonna, make it work with my work schedule and try to see if I can get back into fighting shape and do one more.
You're seeing athletes in a variety of sports, lasting longer nowadays into their, late 40s even. Does your body feel younger? I mean, with nutrition, recovery, and all the things that we have nowadays, do you feel a lot better than maybe you did even just a couple of short years ago?
Yeah, definitely. I think as we get a little bit older and more experience, you learn how to train properly, right? You learn how to over the years learn how to eat properly, what works for you, what doesn't work for you. And obviously, I'm not like I was 10 years ago, so my body's going to be a little bit different in terms of everything, I guess. But I learn how to manage the training now and use the science behind sauna recovery, medical professionals, just to whether it's PT and stuff like that, strengthening different muscle groups and stuff like that were getting weak in older age, and just learning how to adapt, I guess, and make it work.
Yeah, that makes sense. You competed at, such a high level in this sport. When you are away from it for as long as you have been, and, I can't imagine what it's like to be in your shoes, to fight for a Bellator championship. So what is that, I guess, rush like, and how much do you miss it? Did that kind of play into your decision to come back now?
A little bit. I mean, obviously, it's very exciting to fight in front of a huge crowd and be on TV and stuff like that. It's very it can be addicting, right? And but it wasn't really that kind of was bringing me back. It's more of just wanting to test myself, and just get out there and see if I can still hang with someone who's very tough and in a combat sport situation that's a little more dangerous than jujitsu, right? And just ultimately just have fun and see if I can still do it.
When you look back at everything that you've done in your career, I mean, you've had a couple of title fights, Michael Chandler, Douglas Lima. How happy are you with everything you accomplished? Like put it all into perspective for me, looking back at, everything you've done in the sport.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy the way my career ended. I left it the way, with no regrets. I accomplished all the things I think and more than I wanted to, and then I think what a lot of people expected me to do during the time, getting into the sport. So I have no regrets. Maybe the only one thing is I regret I didn't get a submission win in any of my fights yet. So that was the one thing that kind of it's not that it's bringing me back, but I accomplished everything that I wanted to, and I retired with a belt, which was a good way to end my career originally.
Michael Chandler, a guy that you fought, he's doing big things right now. He's got a fight with Dustin Poirier around the corner. How do you see that fight going? I just wanted to get a little prediction there.
It's tough. They're both very dynamic, explosive fighters, well experienced, have fought the best guys. It could go either way. Obviously, I'm rooting for Chandler. I'm sure they're both great dudes, great guys, but it's hard to predict. But I think Chandler may be a little more explosive and with his striking, a little more power. And if he catches Dustin, that could be it.
How much do you feel like the sport of MMA has evolved over the last decade or so? Like when you look at the athletes that are at the top level now in Bellator, UFC, PFL, and what on, how do you feel they've evolved? Are they better now versus 10, 15, 20 years ago?
For sure. I think kind of like what I was saying earlier about, your the science has gotten better. The people learning how to train better, how to use sports psychology, sports nutrition, all these things that maybe 15 years ago were considered just kind of uh, not part of the sport. People just showed up and they trained. They whatever. There wasn't really a lot that they put into it. But now the money that's involved with it at the high level, and the experience that a lot of the coaches have, and the people surrounding them is way different than obviously it was even 10 years ago.
And I gotta say, for 46 years old, you look in great shape. You look nice and lean. What's the weight at right now? I mean, we're still a ways out, but are you close to that weight range?
I'm close to the weight I want to be at to start like my water cut and stuff. So I'm still, the weight's a 165. The catch weight is 165, and so I'm less than 20 away. So.
Okay. All right. Tell me a little bit about your gym and your day-to-day responsibilities. I'm sure you have some great training partners around you and some young kids that might have a bright future in the sport. Just run me through who you have around you day to day now.
Yeah, so I mean, my school, I don't really conduct like a fight school or anything like that. It's more of just recreational, whether it's jujitsu, judo, kickboxing, and kids karate, kids jiu-jitsu as well. But I do have some few young up and comers that have a bright future. Some of them compete now and again. And we have a little bit of guys that are dabbling in MMA and stuff like that. And if they want to, they have some upcoming debut fights and stuff like that. So it's exciting to be able to teach like the next generation and help them out and see the progress that they've made over the last few years.
Is that all that you do as far as a moneymaker now? You just run that gym full time?
Yeah, so that's my full-time job since 2016. So that's all I do, day in, day out.
How did the pandemic affect you in 2020?
It slowed us down a little bit. We had to close in-house classes, but we were able to maintain for a couple of months, a few months, going over Zoom and stuff like that, teaching over online. So that was fortunate. We were fortunate also that we didn't have to, that we survived it. And a lot of schools, a lot of gyms weren't that lucky, and they had to close down forever. And so I'm grateful to my students that stayed with us, and now we're back up and running better than ever.
That's great to hear. And I know, looking on Tapology too, you've been competing still in grappling and judo. How long do you feel like you'll continue to do that? Is that something where, it's not MMA, it's a little different, obviously. So you'll be able to do that, well into your 50s or beyond?
I think so. As long as I stay healthy. I got a hip replacement a couple years ago, and that was really bothering me for several years. Where I couldn't really train the way I wanted to. I couldn't compete, and I'm happy that I did that, and I'm back to doing everything that I could before that.
How much are you sparring in this camp? Are you doing much of that?
Yeah, doing quite a bit. Obviously, I'm fighting a very tough and explosive fighter, a very strong, experienced guy in JZ. So I'm making sure that I'm ready for him in all areas, whether it's on the grappling side or the stand-up side.
Is there a name or two of some of your main training partners that you are sparring with that the public out there would know?
Not really. I haven't been able to travel like I used to in the Bellator days and stuff, where I could maybe go to TriStar and train with those guys up there, or so because of work I have had to kind of modify my schedule. It's not the best, it's not ideal, but I make it work for what I need. So I've just been going a lot to a lot of local schools around here. I have friends like in Rhode Island and Maine and stuff, and so I travel up with them, and they're not like super well-known guys, but they're they have great schools, they're great coaches, and they have great students that have been helping me out.
Whereabouts in Maine? That's actually where I'm at.
Okay, I can't think of the town offhand, but it's about 2 hours from where I am.
Okay. What's the gym or the people that you're getting that working with?
Jared Lawton. That's it.
Okay.
Sorry, Jared. I apologize. Yeah, I went up there. He's a good friend of mine, and he used to come down and train with me every now and again as well. So I went up there. I haven't gone up there. I went up there once and got some good training with him and his crew, and it was great.
Yeah, he's a hell of a BJJ practitioner right there. So some good company you're keeping. Now, how far away do you live from the venue in Wilmington, Massachusetts for Combat FC 2?
So I live on the border of Massachusetts and New Hampshire right now. So I'm in Mass. So I'm probably 15 minutes away. So very close.
Are you expecting a lot of supporters there come fight night to watch you compete?
I do. Yeah, I have a good group of people. I have talked to someone today. They're driving out from Michigan to watch me with some old friends that I hadn't seen in like 20 years. So some old judo friends and stuff in the back in the day when I was really young, and so that's pretty cool. And just to have some of my old teammates from 20 years ago that are also going to be coming and stuff like that to support. And I think Jimmy Pedro, my judo coach, is going to be there with his team and support. So it's exciting, and I'm grateful to have such a good fan base and friends and students that are going to be there.
And with this being on UFC Fight Pass, obviously anyone that can't be there in person can watch from home or their mobile device. How much more exciting is that for you, knowing that you're going to be reaching the masses all over the world, really here?
Oh, it's very exciting. Especially my family back home on the West Coast can watch it, and my friends and family out there. So, I'm excited to be part of this show, and happy to be on UFC Fight Pass again.
Yeah, I really can't wait. Combat FC1 was a huge success, and this second card is looking even bigger and better than their debut. Now, JZ Cavalcante, another veteran, much like yourself. He hasn't competed in MMA since 2018, so he hasn't been active again, much like yourself. So when you do look at this matchup and what he's good at, break this one down for me, Rick. How do you feel this fight's going to play out?
Well, obviously he's very experienced, like you said. He's fought tons of great opponents. I feel like I match up well with him. I know his grappling's very good. I've been training a lot of jiu-jitsu in the last few years, so I feel like my grappling and my wrestling and all that are up to par. Same with my striking. Like I worked on striking, even though I have been retired, and I've still been training and sparring and doing all these things. Just for fun, just to stay in shape and get some of my guys ready too. So he's dangerous in all areas, and I'm going to respect that. But I feel like I have more power in my striking. I'm going to be stronger. I'm maybe a little bit faster and more dynamic than he is.
Do you feel you get him out of there with your stand-up skill set, or do you feel like there's a chance where you could get that first submission?
I think it's a combination of both. I'm not going to make a prediction of where it's going to end up, because obviously you never know. It's going to be we're going to read each other and feel each other out, and I'm going to see what is the best opportunity and have the best timing, and hopefully it works. So it could be on the ground, it could be standing, but I'm going to make him work.
Do you envision this fight getting out of the first round? Do you feel like it could get into deep waters?
It could, absolutely. I'm hoping it does, and I'm hoping I get an early finish, of course. But it has the potential to be a 3-round brawl. So I'm prepared for that, as well as as also hopefully I can make it be a little bit quicker than that.
Win or lose, is this your last fight, or are you going to come back if the right opponent materializes for you?
Yeah, I haven't really thought about it. If I do really well, and even if I don't do really well, I'm gonna consider coming back and do it again, because I still feel like I'm capable of performing at this level. And with the right opponent, of course, yeah, I would love to come back.
Well, I can't wait to be there come fight night again, October the 21st, Combat FC2. I will be there, so I look forward to hopefully meeting you in person, Rick. Again, Rick Hawn meets JZ Cavalcante. Before we do sign off, I want to give you the floor. Please tell people where they can follow you on social media. If you have anything to plug, any sponsors, the floor is yours.
Yeah, absolutely. Tons of sponsors. I want to thank. My big one is Fuji Sports. They've been helping me out over the years. Great company. A ton of local sponsors, a lot of friends that have owned local businesses and stuff. Balance Nutrition, New Hampshire Float, Dario's Plumbing. So I have all these really great friends. Pro Warrior Construction. So students of mine, friends of mine that have been helping me out. HDPT helped me over the years. Kevin McGovern as well. So I hope I didn't forget anyone. If I did, I apologize. But I do have these cool walkout shirts that I made that have all my sponsors on the back of them. So those will be for sale. But yeah, find me on Facebook and on Instagram.